I just want to let everybody know that if they want to be interviewed, they can go to marketingdoer.com to sign up to be interviewed. If you're brave, please do that, or listen to the show on marketingdoer.com as well. And soon they'll be streaming live on Facebook and definitely be posted on YouTube and Twitter afterwards. So, well, thank you very much for joining me for my very first podcast with someone else.
I'm very excited.
So tell me your name, first and last name, and when you got started in the multifamily industry.
Sure. My name is Kelly Thomas, and I'm with Pickle Bird Media. And I started in this business an obscenely long time ago, over 20 years ago. How about let's just say that? And really was just a part-time leasing consultant while I was going to college. And I thought, this is a pretty good gig to have. I mean, they're going to let me plan parties and ride around on a golf cart, and I get paid more money if I rent an apartment. So it seemed like a really good gig to me.
That's awesome. It sounds like a fun gig to me.
It lasted a lot longer than what I had anticipated, though. Much like most people in property management, I kept thinking, okay, one day I'll get a real job. And so obviously that turned into a real job and a real career. And
20 years later.
Yeah, more than 20 years later. And my last position was a director of real estate with Greystar. And
awesome.
Yeah, so it definitely worked out pretty well.
That sounds like it did for sure. What would you tell your younger self if you could speak to her today?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because when you asked me that, I thought there's so many things, right? Because the older that you get, I'm in my 40s now, and I feel like you get this revelation when you hit 40 about wanting to pass knowledge on to the younger generation, right?
Yes.
So
whether they want to hear it
right,
or not, right?
Right. I have nieces that I'm going, please listen to what I'm saying. But, personally and professionally, obviously it's different. I would say professionally, one of the things that I would tell myself is you're really good at what you do. So speak up, be heard. You have really great ideas, because I think for certainly a large part of my early part of my career, I just second guessed myself a lot, and I didn't necessarily have the confidence to speak up. And I would get so frustrated with myself because I would have an idea in my head, be in a big room full of people brainstorming, and I would have all these ideas and think, I don't know if that's good enough. And then of course, and we've all done it, somebody says it and you're like, oh, that was my idea.
Yeah.
Why didn't I?
It's very
why
true.
didn't I say
very
that?
True.
But that is definitely something that I would tell my younger self. And also later on in my career, when I started getting to the point where I was leading teams, and certainly leading big teams, I felt like, early being a manager, I felt like I had to have like this stone face kind of persona. And it's interesting because it just depends on what type of managers you've had exposure to. And I agree. I wasn't as, what I would tell my younger self now is be vulnerable when you become a leader, because that's how you're going to connect with people. You don't have to be perfect, and be quite honest. I mean, it's better when you're not perfect, because you can connect more with your teams and with your people, and you just seem more relatable and more personal. So I would definitely tell
speak up and be vulnerable and speak up. Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I definitely would. And personally, oh my gosh, I would just say you are enough. Like, you deserve the best. I went through years of not knowing that for sure, and maybe a couple of boyfriends here and there along the way. So as a 40-something-year-old woman now, I would definitely tell my 21-year-old self, you're amazing. You deserve the best. And if you wait for it, it eventually does show up.
Amen.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that, especially on the boys'
Oh
side.
my gosh.
Don't put up with it.
Right.
If we could apply what we want to what we do in our personal life to our business life and vice versa, I think we would all be happier.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Definitely. Yeah. That's great advice to your younger self. I would definitely say I wish somebody would have told me so many things, especially that speak up part more often, and don't be scared to raise your hand, because so that's what are you up to now?
So what I am up to now is I actually started my own social media management firm last year, and which was a really big leap of faith for me to take. But
congratulations.
Thank you. And so we do social media management and marketing for really the real estate multifamily industry. And my company is called Pickle and Bird Media. And everybody says, where
Pickle Bird?
Where in the world did you get a name like that? Obviously, a little bit of a risk taker, and I love marketing. And I love more than anything in the whole wide world my family. So Pickle Bird is named after my two daughters, whose nicknames happen to be Pickle and Bird. So
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. And, we're working with companies all over the country and doing some influencer marketing and helping them stand out on Facebook and Instagram. And we do training and lots of fun stuff. So it's been great.
Wow, that's amazing, and congratulations to you. Would you have ever thought this is where you would be? Did you if your younger self, you told you this is where you're going to be in 20 years, would you believed her?
No, I definitely wouldn't have. And again, I mean, I feel like so many of us in property management, especially if you've been in property management for a minute, like I have, you just kind of always thought that, it was a temporary gig. I mean, even
I've heard that so many times. Yes.
For years, I just thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this until I decide what I really want to do. And was really fortunate to have some fantastic mentors in the business over the years, males and females, that I learned so much from. And it just kind of continually sucked me back in. And once I got to the point where I was leading teams, that's really, I would say, the biggest thing that I'm passionate about is helping other people to be successful. I think that's the legacy. The most important thing really you can leave behind.
That's amazing. And you're leading teams just in a different way.
I am,
leading several and multiple times in a week. I'm sure other people's teams, your team.
Yes.
But yeah, it's definitely sounds like a adventure, no matter which team you're leading.
It is. It's fun. And I would just say, multifamily in general, I feel like we're always behind the ball a little bit when it comes to marketing, and certainly social media falls into that category. So just really helping teams and companies learn how to be strategic on social media and how they can utilize it to their benefit and do things differently than what their competition is.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember 15 years ago when I got into the space, that being, everybody would say, we're like a slow moving ship. And I didn't believe him. But I think.
Or the Titanic sometimes.
Yes. Some weeks, some months, it seems they're moving fast, and other weeks, other months, it definitely might be a little bit slower of a ship, but it is, it all comes in due time. So
it does.
That's great. I'm very excited for you. Okay. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to move up in multifamily? That's a great one.
I got this question a lot when I was with Greystar. And what I would tell people is be really, really exceptional at the job that you have right now. That's my best advice, because I think sometimes it's really easy to get focused on wanting to get to that next step. And so you're busy and focused on that next step, when really you just need to be focused on where you're at right now, and you need to master that, because the people that I have recognized throughout my career and identified for advancement opportunities aren't necessarily the ones that were just focused on the next level. They were the ones that were quietly just hammering away and rocking out the position that they already had and then asking for more.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's really, it's always great to be ambitious, but be ambitious and be really, really good at what you're doing right now.
Yes, I would concur with that. That would be on the supplier side too. Any editor that we had, any producer, any sale, that they were amazing, whatever they did, but they were always asking for something else or to learn something. They would learn it themselves. And can I practice? Can I take this on? But they were really already good at their set skills. They started with us,
right?
And then they just kept moving up because they got stronger at more things as time went on.
No,
but
I agree.
They honed each skill. They honed each skill.
And also it's raise your hand, right?
Yes.
Because
speak up again.
Yes. Speak up, because oftentimes people think, well, gosh, I'm working so hard. Everybody must know that I'm ready for the next promotion. Guess what, y'all? I don't know, especially when you're leading really big groups of teams, you don't know necessarily. But if somebody, like, for instance, when I was with Greystar, if I had a leasing consultant that popped by the corporate office and happened to be walking by, and it happened a couple of times, but them popping in my office and saying, hey, the next lease up that comes available, I'm really interested in moving into a leasing manager position or an assistant manager position. Would you consider me? And of course, I mean, yes. Absolutely, I would consider you, versus the person that maybe is on a site and they're hustling away as hard as they can and
don't say anything.
Right. Nobody ever says anything. So yes, I think that the story, the theme that you can hear throughout this is raise your hand and speak up. So
that's great advice.
The easiest
That's great advice. Yeah. Especially for all the millennials coming up in the ranks. They definitely will need that advice to know that we can't read their minds.
No.
My niece and my nephews are, they're on their phones and they don't always speak up because they haven't ever had to. So it's definitely something, I think, that the younger generation, no matter how young they are, if you haven't experienced that yet and you're in your 50s, that's a different. I'm worried, but but if definitely if you're just starting out in multifamily, that's great advice to speak up. It definitely will work worth your while.
Be a hustler.
Yes.
Just hustle, work really hard, and also don't expect that you are going to leapfrog position to position to position in a matter of 2 years. I think that's another thing that we struggled with, was just we would have leasing consultants that started and then couldn't understand why 2 years later they weren't already a manager. And I worked for years on site as a leasing consultant and an assistant manager before I ever had my first property manager opportunity. So, it's just, the industry has certainly changed. And I think that the norm, you see so many people that are fast tracked through, but those are really the exceptions to the rule. It's not that happens more often, certainly, than what it did when I started out in the business. But that isn't the expectation that somebody is going to start and 2 years later, they're going to be a manager. Just know that you gotta, it's really hard to shortcut stuff. Y'all gotta work weekends. I know nobody wants to hear me say that.
Yes, it's true. Working weekends. Yes.
Yeah. When you get in multifamily, your number one goal is when am I going to get a position that I don't have to work weekends?
Yeah. Well, that never happens.
No. And I will tell you, as a director of real estate, guess what? I still worked weekends because
Yes.
guess what happened? We
Yep.
still had people that were working. And
Yep.
if my people were working, that meant that I was working in some capacity.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
It is not, and now that you own your own business, would you not say, that's a great lead in that I always like to tell people, that when you own your own business, that you work harder for yourself than you do anyone else. Would you not agree with that?
110%. And I'm making a lot less money right now.
Right now.
Right now.
In the long run, it will definitely be, beneficial and the fruits of your labor. But would you not agree that even though it's a less money, you're like the reward is, gratifying, like immediately, like there's so many
absolutely
positives to that you just can't put a price on it. I would say.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. And no, I agree. And also it's an investment. Anytime that you start any kind of business, you certainly should have a business plan and a model that represents reinvesting in your business for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
You can watch Shark Tank or anywhere else and people will tell you, hey, I haven't taken a salary in X amount of time because they're focused on building their business. And that's certainly what we're focused on at Pickle Bird too. But I wouldn't trade it for anything because it's been fantastic. I've had an opportunity to meet a whole different group of people and connect with them, and it's just been great. I've really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I will give you from one entrepreneur to another a little bit of advice that even though you might not take a salary, I always tell people who are starting out, paying themselves to, even if it's just $1, if you want to reinvest everything else, pay yourself $1 a week or treat yourself to something so you don't go crazy and you feel rewarded on a dollar level, an amount of money, no matter how small it is, because there's so many other rewards that you get on an everyday basis, just, from working with teams and education and seeing things outside of your normal realm. But that dollar amount, even if it's $1, it will definitely keep your sanity until you start, making until the business is 100% profitable ongoing. So.
I'm happy to report that we are profitable now, which is a really great thing. But yes, no, I do. I definitely do take a salary. It's just smaller.
Yes. Good. Well, hey, it doesn't matter, but thank goodness. And I know that, you're a woman of faith, but so, God's got your back and,
absolutely.
That even though it's less, the seed that has been planted is so much greater by him.
Sure.
So that's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Miss Kelly. I really, really appreciate it.